Hello, hello everybody. Welcome back to Zlatan's Fight Picks. This is the second video in the same day. So we did the recap earlier. Now we're gonna do the fight predictions for the fight night for Song versus Simone this Saturday, April 29th in Vegas. I think. Yeah, I think it's in Vegas. All right, so we're gonna go. We'll start off with the early prelims and a work up to the main event. So let's get started. First fight, Haley Cowan versus Jamie Lynn Horth. Haley Cowan, 5'8", 67-inch reach, 7 wins, 2 losses, 31 years old. Jamie Lynn Horth, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 5 wins, 0 losses, 33 years old. Not a lot of tape on Horth. She's from Canada, so she's got 1+ going for her. I think she's from Vancouver. About the same size. I mean, it's hard to tell until they actually get together and stand side by side. Whenever we get these fighters from the lower leagues, you never know if their measurements are correct. It's really weird. So, but I think she looks fairly tall. She's very tough. She's very durable. She's a mixed martial artist. She loves to fight. Haley Cowan took mixed martial arts later on in life. She's very stiff. She's very strong. I think she was a gymnast, so she's very powerful. She doesn't seem that fluid on her feet. Given the, I guess Horth is the favorite in this one. And usually, as in most of the women's MMA, I do have it at the tail end of the picks, just because of the uncertainty and how close most of these fights are and how many decisions they go to. Not a lot of tape. I'm going to go with Horth. I think she's the more natural MMA fighter. She's very tall. Cowan's usually got a height advantage over most of her opponents. I don't think she's going to have it here in this case. Horth is very tough. She's good on the ground. She's good on the feet. I think Cowan's going to she might have a strength advantage, but I don't think it's going to go her way this time. I think Horth is going to win this. It's going to be her debut. It's hard to tell. It's a risky play, but I'm going to go with Horth on this one. From what I've seen of the little tape I did see. Not a big fan of Cowan's abilities. She's very strong. She can beat a lot. She can bully a lot of girls. I don't think it's going to happen in this fight. Next fight, Marcus McGee versus Journey Newsome. Journey Newsome had a different opponent, but now it's Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee is making his debut in the UFC. He's 5'8", 70-inch reach, 6 wins, 1 loss, 32 years old. Journey Newsome, 5'5", 67.5-inch reach, 10 wins, 4 losses, 34 years old. Marcus McGee, stand-up striker, good takedown defense. His primary path to victory is going to be striking, usually with his hands. He's got some kicks. He's got pretty good defense, though. Journey Newsome, he's a little shorter. He's going to have a little bit of reach disadvantage, but I've seen him have that before. He's well-rounded. He's got good striking. He's got pretty good kicks now. He's been working on it. A lot of little kind of crazy wheel kicks. Kind of throws him a little too often, but he's getting better at it. He's got pretty decent takedowns. I don't know if he's good enough to take McGee down because McGee's got a good takedown defense, but he's taken people down. So, I mean, it's not impossible. I think his path to victory is going to be to take McGee down and to get him on the ground. He seems like he's got both of them got a pretty good gas tank. I know McGee's got a great gas tank. Newsome has got a pretty good gas tank. You don't really see him gassed that often. He's fairly strong. He's durable. He can take a punch. I think he's fought a higher level of competition. Sometimes he hasn't come out on top, but I'm going to go with Journey Newsome on this one. I think he gets this done. It's a short notice fight for McGee and his debut. I think Newsome can get the decision on this one. Next fight, Stephanie Egger versus Irina Alekseeva. Stephanie Egger, 5'6", 68-inch reach. Irina Alekseeva, 5'8", 66-inch reach. Again, I'm not sure about this height stuff. She's coming in from a different league. I think she fought in Bellator just now, recently. But before that, she was in the Russian league. Hard to tell. I think they might be closer in height than even this suggests. I didn't break down the the their wins and losses. But nevertheless, we'll move on. You don't really know a lot about Irina Alexieva. She's a Sambo fighter, so she knows how to fight on the ground. She's got good submissions, good takedown defense. I mean, she just basically walks down her opponents with her hands down, swinging big punches, and she's very tough. And she doesn't care if she gets hit. She throws one. She keeps throwing and she keeps pressuring. Stephanie Egger, she's a judo, not a jiu-jitsu fighter, but a judo fighter. So she's got great throws. She can get people onto the ground. She got great hip throws, head throws. So once she gets a hold of you, chances are you're going to go on the ground. But she doesn't have a lot of good submissions. She's more of a ground and pound, but she can submit people. I think that Irina Alexieva has a good game off her back with the Sambo. They do a lot of arm bars, and she can fight off her back. I think Stephanie Egger got submitted one time when she took Bueno Silva. Who did she take down? She took somebody down, and then she got armbarred. So she's got good defense. I just don't think that Stephanie Egger is as good as Alexieva on her feet, even though I saw her that she is getting better. She's working on her striking. It doesn't look that great. She doesn't look natural. That's not her natural position. I think Alexieva is going to walk her down, because when Egger doesn't have an answer, where she can't take somebody down, she doesn't have an answer to that. If she doesn't actually succeed, she has problems. She doesn't have an answer on the feet. She has to take Alexieva down. She's not going to win this on the feet. Alexieva is confident that she can get back up. I think Egger can take her down. I don't know if Egger can keep her down. I think Alexieva is going to keep getting back up if she is taken down. I'm not a big fan of Stephanie Egger, especially since she tried to cheat that one time when she tapped, and then she pretended like she didn't tap. Not a big fan favorite. Alexieva seems like a really exciting fighter. Going to be great to watch. I'm rooting for her. I think she can get this done. She's going to go in. She's going to upset. And this is what I was going to say is Stephanie Egger is a huge favorite. And this is the last leg of my parlay. And I've kind of gone with Alexieva coming in and having a big upset. And she's a huge underdog. So as far as the bets go, I'd rather be betting on her just for the payout. It's going to be the last leg in my parlay. I'm going to go with Alexieva. Going to be cheering for her. It's going to be a great upset if it happens. So we're going to go for it. And all depend. And do I want to bet Egger as being such a big favorite? And no, I don't. I don't have that much confidence in her. But once they get into the clinch, I mean, she can throw people. She's got great throws. I don't know if she can keep Alexieva down if her Sambo is as good as we're expecting it to be. Moving on, next fight, Martin Buday versus Jake Collier. Martin Buday, 6'4", 77-inch reach, 11 wins, 1 loss, 31 years old. Jake Collier, 6'3", 78.5-inch reach, 13 wins, 8 losses, 34 years old. I went back and forth on this one. Martin Buday, I mean, big, strong guy. It's kind of slow, doesn't throw a lot of volume. Hard to take down, but he's got a good gas tank. Jake Collier, I mean, he's the better fighter overall. He's well-rounded. He can take people to the ground. He's got some hands. He doesn't have super power. I think Buday's got more power, but he's fairly quick. I just don't like the fact that he likes to get into these brawls and he thinks it's a good thing. And I don't think they really pan out for him. I think that he's a better technical striker, and he can take people to the ground, and he can win fights. But I don't trust him to win this fight as much as just get into this brawl and have an entertaining fight. I don't know why. At the end of the day, he's a middleweight that just basically got fatter and fatter and moved up in weight. I don't think he's got the strength advantage. He got knocked out. Well, almost knocked unconscious with ground and pound from the last fight. I don't know if his chin's going to get better or worse from that. Martin Buday is a slight favorite. Actually, it's a pick'em. So realistically, they're both, favorites / underdogs. I'm going to go with Martin Boudet on this one. I think Jay Collier's on his way down, and I think Martin Boudet is on his way up. I think Martin Boudet is too strong. He's too powerful. And if he's got good enough takedown defense, he's going to win this. I'm going with that. Martin Boudet for the win. Where are we going? I think we got one more on the undercard. To Cody Durden versus Charles Johnson. Cody Durden, 5'7", 67-inch reach, 14 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 32 years old. Charles Johnson, 5'9", 70-inch reach, 13 wins, 4 losses, 0 draws, 32 years old. You know, Cody Durden's a little shorter, a little less reach, which is not going to help because the fact is Charles Johnson is the better striker, more technical striker, the same age. They both got great gas tanks. I've seen Cody Durden get tired when he's a wrestler, but when he's attacking, I've seen him slow down a little bit in the later rounds. Charles Johnson's great gas tank. I haven't seen him slow down. He's got good takedown defense. I went back and forth on this one, and this one is one of those fights where this is going to be a split decision. Charles Johnson is a great fighter. He's well-rounded. He's a good technical striker. But whenever he's standing there, he's so arrogant. He thinks he's the best guy ever. And he always doesn't do enough. Whenever you're standing there, you're watching the fight, you're watching him stand in front of the guy, and you're like, do something more, do some more, do some more. It looks like he's got the ability to do more, but he just doesn't do enough. And a lot of these decisions are close decisions that he's one could have gone either way. I just don't like that about him. Even though I like him overall, he's a great technical striker. He's well-rounded. He's got all the tools. He just doesn't do enough. But in his head, if you ever listen to him talk, he thinks he's the greatest, and he's so arrogant. But he is good, but he just doesn't do enough. Cody Durden, I've seen him hit some highs and some lows, but he's a good chain wrestler. He continually attacks. He's got a decent gas tank. I think I've only seen him one fight where he looks a little gassed later on in the rounds. But he's fought a fairly decent level of competition when he did lose. He's the underdog in this one. And seeing as how this is going to be a split decision, I'm going to go with the underdog. I think Cody Durden's going to be good enough on the feet, going to attack Charles Johnson, probably take him down, probably get enough points. Charles Johnson's going to get back up. I don't know if Charles Johnson's going to do enough when he gets back up to win those rounds back. And that's where my problem is. He doesn't do enough when he has an opportunity to do enough. And Cody Durden might grind this one out. I'm going to go with that. He's the underdog. Cody Durden. I'm going to go with it for the upset. He's lower on the chart for parlays, but going with Cody Durden, given the fact that I think it's going to be a split decision, I'd rather go with the underdog. Where the money's at, Cody Durden. Main card. Quinlan versus Waters. Quinlan, 6 foot tall, 72-inch reach, 6 wins, 0 losses, 30 years old. Waters, 6'5", 77-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 loss, 28 years old. You know, I bet against Quinlan the first time he showed up in the UFC. I thought he was going to be able to be taken down by Witt. Instead, he had a fantastic knockout of Witt. He's got a lot of power. He's got good takedown defense. He wants to keep it striking. He can take a lot of punishment. Waters, he's tall, he's lanky, but he's tough. He can take a lot of punishment. This guy's never been knocked out. I don't know if he's been knocked down, but he's never been knocked out. He's always going fighting to the end. He's been submitted before, but he's really tall. He's really confident. He does take a lot of shots, though. He takes a lot of shots. I think his defense is not that great. He really relies on the fact that he's 6'5" and really tall, but he does take a lot of shots. And he's obviously relying on his chin. His chin is held up. He's a very tough guy, hard to knock out. Quinlan, you know, I mean, Jason Witt's not a huge. When he beat Jason Witt and he knocked him out, Witt's not like the kind of guy that has a great, fantastic chin. But he knocked him out cold. And I'm expecting Quinlan to do more damage in this. He just got to get in on the reach of Waters. Waters, he, like I said, I think he just takes too much punishment. I think he gets hit too many times. He's pretty good on the ground. I don't think Quinlan's going to go on the ground with him. I think he's got a pretty good takedown defense. This is going to end up on the fight, on the feet. I think Quinlan's going to be a better technical striker. I think he's going to be more powerful. And we'll see what happens, because Waters is going to be able to test that chin because of his reach. I'm going to go with Quinlan on this one. I'm, reasonably confident that he can pull this off. Waters did try to go to the UFC and he got submitted by Bonfim. Then he went back to the LFA and he won a fight. He fought a really good fight, and I think he won by knockout. Again, going with Quinlan, going to be a good fight. Quinlan's the pick. Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 20 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw, 37 years old. Waldo Cortez Acosta, 6'4", 78-inch reach, 9 wins, 0 losses, 31 years old. Here's the thing. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, 37 years old. This is what worries me. He's at the tail end of his career. But he's a very tough guy. I think he's only been knocked out one time, like much earlier in his career. Very tough guy. Comes in, swings big, swings with a lot of power, lots of hooks, lots of pressure, could take people to the ground. He's very powerful. He's 6'1", he's 265, so he's very compact. But he throws with reckless abandon, and he's fighting against Waldo Cortez, who's a great striker, has got great overhand right, throws it like a fastball, never been knocked out. This was a tough one, but I think the age, if Marcos Rogerio de Lima was a little younger, I'd be more confident, but I'm going to go with him anyway. He hasn't shown me that he's slowed down yet. Waldo Cortez Acosta, very tough guy. He's come through some adversity, especially with a lot of leg kicks. He seems like he's always getting kicked in the leg because of his heavy boxing stance, but he seems to push through it, and he seems to be winning these fights. But I'm going with Guerrero de Lima. I think he's going to have a lot of forward pressure. I don't think this fight goes the distance. Cortez likes to go forward. Rogerio de Lima likes to go forward. We'll see who wins this battle. But having said that, Rogerio de Lima also has takedowns in his arsenal, and we've never seen Cortez Acosta being taken down. So I think he's got more paths to victory. I'm going to go Rogerio de Lima. I think he's a slight favorite. Next fight, Julian Erosa versus Fernando Padilla. Julian Erosa, 6'1", 74.5-inch reach, 28 wins, 11 losses, 33 years old. Fernando Padilla, 6'1", 76-inch reach, 14 wins, 4 losses, 26 years old. Going back to, is Julian Erosa at the tail end of his career? He's a lot old. He's 7 years older. He's getting to that 8-year range where, the younger fighters do come through. He's not over the hill yet. I've seen him come out, do really well, and see him come out and do really badly. And I find him very inconsistent. And it's hard to break him down because you don't know which Julian Erosa is going to show up. He can be very tough, take a lot of punishment, uses his range well. He's usually the much taller fighter out of everybody. In this case, he will not be the taller fighter, and he won't have the reach advantage, which worries me because he's used to having that. Having said that, Padilla doesn't use his reach. He usually likes being in close and in a brawl, and he hasn't been knocked out. He's got a really strong chin. Erosa normally can take a lot of punishment, but lately his chin looks like it's fading. So he could be susceptible to that, but he fights better at range. Padilla's definitely better on the ground. Erosa's not too bad on the ground. I think he can steep it on the feet though. I don't think Padilla's got good takedowns. It's a last minute fight for Padilla. I'm going to go with Erosa, the devil I know kind of thing. As long as it's which Erosa is going to come out, but he should have the better experience, and he should have the better technical striking than Padilla. So I just hope he doesn't go into a total war with him and uses his length. I know Padilla likes to go to total war. He's got a great chin. He wants to get in close and wants to throw. I'm going to go with Erosa on this one. Decent confidence, but you never know. Padilla's debut, you never know how he's going to look. He might look great, might not look great. Next fight, Rodolfo Vieira versus Cody Brundage. Rodolfo Vieira, 6 foot tall, 73-inch reach, 8 wins, 2 losses, 33 years old. Cody Brundage, 6 feet tall, 72-inch reach, 8 wins, 3 losses, 28 years old. Rodolfo Vieira, great jiu-jitsu, fantastic jiu-jitsu. He has a hard time taking people to the ground, so he really had to work on his striking. He seems like he's really improved his striking. He fought Chris Curtis and he landed an unusual amount of strikes on Chris Curtis. I think it's because of the threat of the takedown that he managed to strike Chris Curtis a lot more than Chris Curtis gets struck. But he did take punishment from Chris Curtis because I think he might have taken Chris Curtis down. Chris Curtis got back up fairly quickly, so it was a striking battle. And Vieira did pretty good on the feet. He's pretty accurate. He's new to the game, but he's I don't know. It was awkward but very effective, and he took the punishment from Chris Curtis as well. I don't know if Chris Curtis wasn't letting his hands go as much because of the takedown threat, but to stand up against Chris Curtis, and especially after you see how Chris Curtis did against what was that? The last fight against what's that wrestler's name? It's eluding me. Anyways, is one of the top contenders, top 5. But where was it? That's bugging me now. Okay, who was it? Where was it? Gastelum. Yeah, he fought Gastelum. Yeah. So looking at that fight and seeing how well Vieira did in the striking is fairly impressive. Cody Brundage, he's a wrestler, but he can't strike. He did end up knocking out the guy he fought last. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Brundage. I don't know why. Is he a boxer? Is he a wrestler? I don't know. He's supposedly a good wrestler. I mean, is he going to take Rivera down? Is he gonna just, strike with Rivera? He did getting a knockout last time, but I think he was getting a knockout because the other person was worried about a takedown, and I think he caught him with an overhand right. I don't know if Rivera really cares if he gets taken down by Brundage, so it's going to be a stand-up fight. I think Brundage has got a lot of power. I think Vieira might be the better technical striker. Seeing how he's improved when it gets to the ground, Brundage might be able to take him down. I don't know if he wants to take him down again. Rivera maybe wants to be on the ground. This is going to be an interesting fight, but I'm going to go with Vieira. I'm not impressed with Brundage. I don't know. We just don't know how he's going to come out. Although he has had some surprise victories, I think Vieira's going to be winning this fight. It's going to be a close fight. Gonna go with Vieira on this one. Next fight, Chao Barallo versus Michael Oleksiejczuk. Chao Barallo, 5'10", 675-inch reach, 13 wins, 1 loss, 30 years old. Michael Oleksiejczuk, I'll just call him Mikhail. 6 foot tall, 74-inch reach, 18 wins, 5 losses, 28-inch reach. Mikhail has moved down to middleweight from light heavy. Can take a punch. Very tough guy. Great technical striker. He's got great takedown defense. He gets back up when he gets taken down. I really like betting on this guy. He always seems to surprise everybody. Chao Barallo, 5'10", great gas tank, great takedowns, decent striking. I think he's got more paths to victory. I think he can take Mikhail down continuously, even if Mikhail does get back up. But Chao's got great jiu-jitsu. He's got good control on the ground. I really like how he fights. These basically are two guys that I really like to watch fight. And Michael's got a great takedown defense. Chow Barolo has got great takedowns. So it's going to be a battle there. Michael's going to be better on the feet. Chow's no slouch either, though. He can strike. So I think he's got more paths to victory. I'm going to go with Chow Barolo for the victory. Next fight was the main event. Song Yadong versus Ricky Simon. Song Yadong, 5'8", 67-inch reach. 19 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 25 years old. Ricky Simon, 5'6", 69-inch reach. 20 wins, 3 losses, 30 years old. You know what? As soon as I saw this fight, I immediately picked Ricky Simon. I really liked Ricky Simon. Ricky Simon's great wrestler, great striker, good hands. Then I started looking into it a little more about who he's had problems with. And he's had problems with guys who are really powerful, great strikers, and got good takedown defense, which is basically Song Yadong. So after thinking about it and looking at the fight, wanting to pick Ricky Simon, always seems to do the upset. I think Ricky Simon is going to have a hard time taking Song Yadong out. And if he does take him down, Ricky Simon doesn't have the greatest control on the ground. He does take people down a lot, does a lot of chain wrestling, but he doesn't control people on the ground. And Song Yadong is the kind of guy it's hard to control on the ground. He's got great takedown defense, and he's got great get back up defense. So he gets back up and he throws a really hard right hand, very powerful. When one of the fights, Ricky Simon got knocked out by an overhand right. I think it's the only time he's ever gotten knocked out. And the guy, it was what's his name? It's the coach of Song Yadong that knocked Ricky Simon out with an overhand right. What's his name? The California kid. What's his name? God, it's not good for memory today. Uriah Faber. Yeah, he was 40 years old and he came into that fight. Everyone expecting him to lose, and he kept throwing these overhands, and he kept connecting, and finally connected really hard and knocked out Ricky Simon. And they stopped the fight, TKO. I think that Song Yadong gets this done. He is the underdog. He's actually was a bigger underdog at the beginning, and he's kind of now he's just a little bit of an underdog. This is a 5-round fight. Looking at a 3-round fight, I think Ricky Simon was a huge favorite. Now, he's not as big a favorite with this one, but I think Song Yadong can win this. He just took Corey Sandhagen 5 rounds. It was a stoppage because of his eye, but he did split the rounds, 2 rounds and 2 rounds, I think, with Sandhagen. Sandhagen's definitely on top of the division. I think Song Yadong wins this. It's going to be a good fight. Song Yadong for the win. Let's go to the board real quick, and then we will cut this short today. Let's go here. Okay, how's that? Good? All right. Let's do this. Most confidence pick, Barolo. I think he's got a definite path to victory. He's going to take Mikel down. He's going to be able to control him on the ground. Even if he gets back up, he's going to be able to take him back down. That's where Mikel's weakness is. I think Barolo definitely has a path to victory. He's got a good gas tank. Second most confident pick, Rogerio de Lima. I think Cortez has not been tested yet. Not like this anyway, with this really powerful striker coming at you who can wrestle as well. So Rogerio de Lima will be the pick. Vieira, I think, I'm not a big fan of Cody Brundage. I think he's going to win this. I don't, apart from him getting, I don't think he can get, he hasn't been knocked out by better strikers. But, you never know. Brundage can get lucky. I think Brundage taking him to the ground could be a mistake. But you never know. Brundage is a wrestler. He just might try it. And then if he could take him to the ground and stay on top and not get submitted, he could still be productive. But I pick in Vieira, fair degree of confidence. Next fight, Erosa. minus 150. All these guys, if you notice, are favorites. Unfortunately, that's just what I'm thinking. I was hoping it'd be more underdogs. Erosa's the pick for the next one. Budai's the next pick. He's actually, now he was minus 110. He has slipped to being slight more favorite, like minus 120 now. I got him. All these lines that are underneath these guys are basically underdogs. This was a pick 'em at that point. So all the brown lines are underdogs just to see them a little easier. But I was going to be the pick. Next is going to be Quinlan. Again, favorite. Song Yadong. He was like a minus plus 135. He's actually slipped to plus 105. An underdog. He's going to be the pick. Newsom, favorite. He's going to be the pick here. Durden. He's the underdog, plus 110. He was actually a bigger underdog, plus 125 earlier. Now he slipped to plus 110. He's going to be the pick. And last but not least, the women. I got Horth, who's a favorite. I'm going to pick her. And again, this is the last leg of the parlay. I'm picking Alex Siva for the upset, a huge underdog. I mean, there's just, for my last pick, there's just no other way to go. I'm not going to go with a heavy favorite of Egger. I'm not a big fan. And what's the point? You know, I mean, you might as well just not have any bet at all. You know? Yeah, I'm going to go with Alexiva. It's going to be a exciting fight. I hope she pulls it off. I mean, it'll be fantastic. But there you go. Don't forget, bet online, 50% match up to $1,000. I usually, they've got the most amount of props. Like I said, eventually I'll go into props and some other bets, but definitely don't have time to do all that. Again, this is what I would pick as a parlay. You can pick them as individual fights. You can pretty much do whatever you like. Again, bet at your own risk, not financial advice. And this is gambling. Only be prepared to bet what you're willing to lose, because this is a fight. You never know what'll happen. I haven't had a chance to see the weigh-ins today. The weigh-ins don't go good till about in the noon. That could have a bearing on these picks. So just so you know, I don't do a recap after the weigh-ins, but things can change later on for me, depending on what I see. So at the weigh-ins, I usually do have, sometimes it sways what I pick, because depending how they look in the weight cut, you'll see them standing side by side. And like I said, a lot of times these measurements aren't even right. And I've seen them up to 3 inches off, where they're, you know, somebody's way taller when that's not what the stats say. So I'll have to take a look at that. So these things could change for me. Unfortunately, I don't do another recap after that. Just no time. But for now, this is what I'm picking. Again, pick how you want to bet it. You can bet part of it, some of it. Take some of the information, add it to your assessment. You can bet them individually. You know, I usually find that individual bets I do fairly well in. Unfortunately, it's with the big favorites. It's just the payouts aren't there. But this is how I would structure the parlay. But again, do it according to what you think. Do your own research. Listen to other people, what they got to say, you know, weigh them all out. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it pays out huge and I'm 100% this week. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. If you like the content, you'll get notifications. Helps me out as well. If you want to participate, I have a buy me a coffee. I love coffee. Feel free to buy me a coffee if you like the content. Thank you very much for joining me. See you guys next week.